Hey, we're Blenderstyle, the show where we discuss an extreme blend of music. On this episode, we're discussing Counting Crows, August and Everything After, released in 1993 on Geffen Records. Cheers, gentle fellers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Nice.
How many did you guys count? I only counted like 3.
So, I know Nathan is familiar with Counting Crows.
Everyone knows this band.
Have you ever heard of Counting Crows, Matt? Or is this your first time?
You couldn't escape Mr. Jones and me in high school.
Oh, you hung out with Mr. Jones, huh?
We were chasing you. Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Sweet. So,
And then that fucking stupid song from the Shrek 2 or
I actually really like that song.
Accidentally in Love.
Yes.
Ugh.
I don't even know this song.
Oh, it's such a good song.
Ugh.
Like the donkey falls in love with that green girl.
The Dragon.
Oh, I thought I never actually watched Shrek, so I don't know. I thought the donkey fell in love with the ogre.
So you listened to the song like voluntarily?
Oh yeah.
Not because of the movie?
No.
This came out way before the movie.
So this came out in my 93, so I was September, so I was 12 years old.
Right.
You were 12 years old.
Yeah.
This was before I was really into like heavy metal. I was into like, the rock and the 80s metal, hair metal.
Oh, wait, did you get into this then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a good album. I like it. I think there's a lot of hinted meaning behind it. If you read into the lyrics and dig into them, which makes it kind of cool. I know you're doing the I'm too cool for this attitude thing, Matt.
I listen to it a lot. I will give a...
So what do you think
thorough-
about it?
I wrote a lot of notes when
Did
I
you
was
really?
listening to this.
Okay.
One of my early notes was, this is the worst thing we've ever reviewed on Blenderstyle.
Oh yeah.
It's not.
So now I gotta know what you think is the worst.
Yeah.
Probably Hammerfall.
Really?
I think that was like my least favorite. I actually went back and listened to Hammerfall. I'm like, is that one also terrible? Yes. My first playthrough from this was just, ugh. I actually had to like text a friend, and I'm like,
You phoned a friend?
Yeah, I had to phone a friend. I'm like, do you like Counting Crows? She's like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this makes total sense, because she listens to singer-songwriter shit. This is
Oh.
like alternative, adult alternative, right?
It's definitely like alternative rock.
Yeah.
I hate
don't know.
that. I hate that.
I don't know that I
alternative,
call it
but
adult alternative, but yeah, it's alternative. It's for sure.
Yeah.
But like the band might as well be non-existent. There is good drumming on it. I'll give it that.
There's really good bass on this. There's like the bass player has like some porno sounding bass lines going on throughout.
On the first track, yeah, on Round Here, like
Mhm.
halfway through, it kind of gets funky, and I was like, okay, I can dig this. And then a lot of it's just like sad fucking acoustic guitar dude with dreadlocks music, and it just ugh. So I was like, all right, people fucking love this band.
Uh-huh.
Clearly, you
Yeah.
guys like it. I'm like, all right, maybe it's the lyrics.
Okay.
So I got into the lyrics, and the lyrics they're fantastic.
Oh, they are.
Every song, the lyrics are good, with the exception of the Raincoat song.
The raincoat.
Do you hate it because he says I need a raincoat way too many times?
He really, really needs a raincoat.
Yeah, I've noticed that like anything that like repeats itself, like kind of often, it's a kind of off-putting to you. I've noticed that. But I love like the subtle different instruments that are in this.
Mm-hmm.
You get the keyboards, different piano. There's just different instruments.
It's good composition.
Yeah.
Disagree completely. If you made this instrumental, it would suck. Worse than it already sucks. If there was no vocals and this guy singing on top of this, I think this would be
It's definitely
awful.
singer-songwriter stuff, like you were saying.
100%.
But I also think, I don't want to dismiss this completely, you know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
this band. I think this is definitely for its time. What I love about this album is, it's definitely a bookmark in time. The
Yeah.
way it sounds, the even the name of, the album, it brings you back to a time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's what it does for me. Like, this brings me back to being a young kid.
Exactly.
When I thought Hootie and the Blowfish was fucking cool.
They remember.
Because I knew nothing. I knew
Yeah, you
nothing
knew
else.
nothing about
You know
music,
what
yeah.
I mean? I remember like being younger and seeing Hanson on 2020 because my parents watched 2020 and there was a thing on there about him, and I was like, "Oh, they got long hair. This must be good." And then I listened to it, and it was not good. But you know what I mean? You're discovering music. You're trying to hear something different.
I feel like Hanson rocks more than Counting Crows.
Kansas?
Hanson.
Oh,
No.
Kansas for sure,
I mean,
bro.
Bop.
No.
But
Bop might be better than every song on this album. That's not true. Bop
Yeah.
sucks.
I'm gonna pick Hanson album next.
I love that it's sad, but it's also in a comfortable way. It's like comforting.
Oh, that's a good way of putting
I
it.
like that it is vulnerable, especially around the time that this like came out. Everything was really loud, distorted rock and roll, you know. And then this guy, ugly dude with dreads and a leather jacket. We need to insert this on the video.
Mhm.
Mr. Jones.
Him
This
dancing
picture,
around.
him is the worst.
Didn't he date Jennifer Aniston around this
Dude,
time?
he's actually dated a lot of really good-looking women.
How did he manage that?
Dreadlocks.
Lyrics. He wrote them love letters.
Oh, yeah.
He blew them sweet kisses.
So yeah, I agree with you. This came out during the time when grunge was like the mainstream, and so this went totally against the current.
Oh, yeah. You would hear that Mr. Jones would come on right after like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading somewhere, and I didn't write the notes down, but
I'll admit I was pretty conflicted on this. Like at first I was like, this really sucks. It started to grow on me. It's not totally shit.
No, not at all. I mean,
Like there's a couple songs I'm like, all right, it's pretty good. Like I'd listen to them, I'd start to remember the lyrics and I'd sing along with it.
like
Yeah.
I would agree with you though. Like if you did take the vocals away, it's very simple and just kind of elevator background music. But with the
and I hate
vocals,
to admit that too, because I love this album, but when you said that and I thought about it, I was like, damn it, you're right.
This
yeah.
first song gets kind of funky and groove around here. Round here's great. Some of these are just Sullivan Street. My comment was just gross face.
Man,
I feel like
Just like ugh.
everything up until Perfect Blue Buildings. So round here, Omaha, Mr. Jones, great. Perfect Blue Buildings, nah. Anna Begins, all right. Time and time again. Sometimes good, sometimes all right. Sometimes really boring, depending on the mood I'm in.
Ugh.
Rain King, banger.
it's
Sullivan Street, I could care less about. Ghost Train, cool, just because Between the Buried and Me got their name from it.
Is that where that lyric's from?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Raining in Baltimore, I could care less. And then A Murder of One is a great song.
dude. It doesn't that have Counting Crows
Yes.
in it? You know
Yes.
what I mean?
The word counting, yeah. Murder One's cool because it's like they're talking about crows,
Mm-hmm.
a murder of crows.
Yeah.
That's like the highlight of the whole album is murder of crows.
I don't know.
I think the mix on this is really good. The vocal patterns, and
The production is pretty.
And this is a
fucking killer.
debut album, right?
it is.
Yeah.
It's
their
a debut album, and it literally has like 4 singles that everyone knows.
Oh yeah,
like you
for sure.
mentioned, everyone knows who this is. So they must have done something right.
Oh yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. This happened when grunge was like kind of at the forefront, 93.
Mhm.
So for this to come out and kind of push against the current on that, I think they got a lot of play just in the fact that they were different.
I would definitely listen to this, listen to the band, but I would not want to hang out with any of these guys
No,
at all.
And
Sip coffee at some.
It's like pretentious, kind of.
I love that there's a lot of hidden meaning in all the lyrics in this album.
The lyrics are good.
But I also have to agree that I think the slower songs maybe get a little too slow, too empty
Yuck.
almost. And then there's like, it loses momentum about midway through and kind of like never picks it up until that last song. And then you're like, oh, cool, it's picking back up. And then it's over. And you're like, oh, that kind of sucked.
Mr. Jones doesn't bother you guys. Like, it's irritating.
The lyrics are what make it good for me.
I just
The chorus when he's like, Mr. Jones.
I hate the
and-
chorus.
Oh, God. I
Yeah.
heard that like 1,000 times in the 90s, and I just, ugh.
remember the video and like laughing
Yeah.
because he's like
He's in a loft.
Well, yeah,
singing
he's
like
got,
this.
he's got
with-
that jacket with the
with
fringe stuff on.
things on it and tight blue jeans. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
But-
Nobody in the band was like, come on, bro.
Well, and the funny thing is like they're known for like being really lively on stage, I guess. I've never seen them live,
Oh, really?
but I guess that's like one of their things. Their live shows, he's always all over the place, which is cool.
It's funnier that this band moves around more than like Cannibal Corpse does, because
Uh-huh.
they just stand there and just play guitar.
They got to do something up there.
I think they do.
That'd be really boring.
I think they also do a really good job of portraying emotion through their vocal patterns and the song lyrics and stuff.
It is emotional. I'll give it that. Like
I mean,
it's sad and
you could
kind of
almost feel the sadness and the
melancholy.
angst and stuff, and then you could feel the happiness and the portrayal of like hope and stuff throughout it. Which
Even
is cool.
that song that bugs me, which I'm not narrowing it down, but Raining in Baltimore,
Mhm.
when he's talking about he really needs a raincoat, I'm just like, someone please get
Yeah,
this guy
get the guy a raincoat.
Seriously. I'm like, I feel for him. It's like,
Well,
it's
my
cold and
problem
shit.
with that is if he waited long
Dude, he
enough
wants a sunburn, dude.
to
right?
write a song, why didn't he just walk down to the damn store and get a raincoat?
He couldn't afford one until this album came out, dude.
That's actually a good
I
point.
get the sense
They
that this
did
guy
form-
had money.
They are from San Francisco, so
Like, I think his parents were like doctors or something. I didn't,
Oh, were they?
yeah, something, I don't know. But I get the sense that like he had a budget going into it. Because this band was kind of like hyped up, right? Like before the
I
debut.
feel like this is like I mentioned like before, like Hootie and the Blowfish. I think they were like one of those bands that like came out and they were big because everyone's parents let them listen to them.
mhm.
And then
This was a family ordeal because you could
Yeah.
listen to it with your kids.
like Oprah like interviewed him probably or something, and everyone's mom liked it.
They're like, oh, the Hootie.
Yeah.
Those Blowfish are great.
Hootie and the Blowfish had that hilarious
then-
video of
and then-
them playing basketball with those guys.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
So like, I feel like once the kids caught on, they were like, "This isn't cool." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, this isn't cool, and I think everyone just kind of forgot about
This has deeper and more genuine emotion than Hootie and the Blowfish, but that's probably a more entertaining band to listen
it.
to.
Dude, I only want to be with you, bro. Like,
And
dude,
then-
let her cry.
Yeah, dude.
I honestly
Okay.
couldn't name any other Hootie and the Blowfish other than that one song.
That's the only
Nah, dude,
ones I
next
know.
pick for me.
Um, so they derived their name from a British nursery rhyme
Yeah.
called "One for Sorrow," which is about the superstitions of counting magpies, which is a member of the crow family.
Eh.
So, which is kind of cool. I
I
like
don't
that.
like songs that count off like that. One, blah,
well,
blah,
it's
blah,
part of the
two.
nursery rhyme.
I
and
know, it still bothers me.
they adapted it for their song or whatever, which is cool, I guess. But
It's like when you talk shit about Power Man 5000, you're like, my neck, my shoulder,
Yeah.
one, blah, blah, blah,
Matt's
two,
like,
blah,
I
blah,
hate
blah.
counting.
Yeah, I don't like counting stuff.
I like how the cover. I like how the cover depicts the
I don't like math.
the song August and Everything After, but the song was never released on the album.
Why is it, do you know why it's called August and Everything After? Why,
The album or
The album, yeah.
I have no idea. I didn't read into
So
it.
I think Adam
Duritz,
Adam Dirt, his birthday's August 1st.
Uh-huh.
So August and Everything After. I wonder if that's why.
Okay, so does it roll back over after December? Or does it just stop in December? So is it technically August and
Up to December.
September and October and November and December and January and February and March and April, May and June, July
No, I
and
think
August?
it's just into the winter, and that would explain why he needs the raincoat.
Ah.
Yeah.
Didn't this come out in like September of
It did.
1980?
Yeah. September 14th.
So how come that song's not on this album though?
I don't know. It was
So there's a
released.
song called August and Everything
There was a
After.
song called August and Everything After. It was recorded for this session. It wasn't put on the album.
When did it come out?
It came out in 2019 as an Amazon original. But the lyrics are depicted on the front cover. All the handwritten lyrics behind it are for
So he's been sitting on this song forever.
yeah, kind of like we're going to sit on this episode forever.
Yeah.
You don't want to release
No,
it?
I'm just fucking with you. So, I mean, I like it. I know Nate at one point was going to get Rain King tattooed on his knuckles.
Yeah, this is true. But then I didn't want anyone to think I was like hard.
Like you wrecked?
Yeah, like, you know, like I'm raining fists or something, you know?
Rain King.
Yeah.
But it's about the shit.
But it's about counting crows. I would have tattooed it in raindrops.
on your knuckles, dude.
Yeah.
So
That's even harder, huh? Right?
It is. You're
That's
just
kind of like,
like hold
what's
on.
that from, dude? Counting crows.
Yeah.
Tight.
And then right here you have Adam. Adam Dirt or whatever his name is.
Duritz. Or Black Adam, and then The Rock shows up
I don't get it.
because he
Oh,
played the Black Adam in the new
movie or
Marvel
something?
or DC movie.
I don't watch Marvel shit, dude.
It's DC, bitch.
I don't watch.
I like this.
Fuck.
I just got to mention though
Passive
that,
aggressive.
like I said, like
Wow.
this is like goes back to a time, and then I love that. At least personally, I don't even know if I love this about it, but what I like about it is that it takes me back to a time, but I've listened to it throughout my time of knowing it. You know what I mean? Like it brings me back to a time.
When you didn't
But
know
all the way
shit about
until
music, yeah.
you know I've listened to it
So
since 1993. You know,
Is
I
it
can
like
always kind of go.
nostalgic for you then?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it brings me back to like Dawson's Creek, bro. You know.
God. It sucks.
Uh,
So then what would you rate it, Nate?
dude, I rate this a 4.2. I think this is a fucking killer album.
No.
I think the album after this is also really good. The lyrics are really good, and I think it's ballsy as hell to come out with this around the time that stuff was around. The distortion pedal was everywhere.
It was.
There's no distortion on this at all, and the fact that these guys were probably playing festivals or different shows with different bands, probably. I don't know who they played with. I was way too young to even pay attention.
Yeah.
But for being a young kid and hearing this and it getting me to like think about lyrics,
Mhm.
I don't know. And dude, it's pretty hooky. So 4.2.
So I never listened to anything from Counting Crows after that. After this album. So this album I listened to a lot when I was a kid. And I don't even think that I listened to the whole album. I think I listened to like
The singles.
and then, Murder of One. But I always skipped through like the slower songs. So when we listened to it this time, it was my first time listening to it. But by the time the next album came out, I think I was fully engulfed in like metal and stuff. And so I didn't have time for it. But yeah, it's weird. What about you, Matt? What do you rate it?
This was a struggle.
Was it?
At first, I was just like, this is going to be like hard to listen to. We've reviewed other albums I think are worse than this.
Mhm.
This is not good.
Nicole Atkins was worse for me.
I like Nicole Atkins better than this.
Wow.
There's like, this is like gross to me. 1.9 out of 5. At first, like I said, I thought this was one of the worst albums we ever reviewed. But it does. I'm willing to admit that if I keep listening to it, I'll probably like it more. I do like Round Here. I think that's the best song on here. The other ones that are like decent songs, like Murder One, is tolerable. Sullivan Street is disgusting. Like just
I wasn't a fan of that one.
so it's a 1.9 for me. I did not like it.
So what you're saying is if you listen to this for another 30 years like Nate and I have, you'll be up at like a 4 point something probably. It's gonna take.
I wouldn't say no.
It's gonna take 30 years to grow on you.
It's completely because there's other like weak music I listen to
Yeah.
that I've been listening to the whole time, and you just start to kind of get acclimated.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
that's kind
think-
of like it is with Nicole Atkins. Like when we did that, I listened to that for so long, but the first few times I listened to it, I wasn't super
I
into
feel like
it.
this has more
Substance.
potential to be a better album over
Mhm.
time than Nicole Atkins.
So I gave it a 4.1 out of 5. I'm with Nathan. This was something that, it has a lot of like sentimental value and nostalgia for me. And I'm a lyrics guy, so I like reading into it. And the more I read about the hidden meanings behind the lyrics and stuff, the more I'm like, oh, it's cool. I always think it's really cool when somebody could portray something to the masses that might not necessarily be okay. It might be more of a taboo subject, and they could portray it to be a welcome way, and everybody's like, oh, it's great. But then, later on down the road, people are like, oh, wait, that's what it meant. And I feel like there's a lot of that in this album, which is really cool for me. So 4.1.
Yeah. I think there's like also a lot of self self-loathing
Mhm.
that's going on here, and like admitting that the self-loathing is there, because I have a lot of self-loathing that I got, in itself is just relatable to me. And I think it's relatable to many people.
Mhm.
I think most people don't feel strong and
Yeah.
great all the time, and they feel like it's raining and they need a raincoat.
So yeah, if you like singer-songwriter stuff, or just like hidden meanings behind lyrics, or you're just feeling nostalgic for something that was way different in the grunge era, check out Counting Crows, August, and everything after. We're Blenderstyle. Subscribe and like. See you next time.
Get him a fucking raincoat already.